Hello, boys and girls. Today I'm going to read aloud a story called Jeff's Monster. In this story, Jeff is afraid a monster might be under his bed. Listen for what Jeff does when he finds a tiny monster under his bed. What might Jeff do if the little monster is cute, not scary? Please write this on your handout. Jeff's Monster by John Strauss. Jeff's mother kissed him goodnight, and as soon as she turned out the light, Jeff pulled the covers over his head. Jeff didn't like the dark, and he worried to himself, what if a monster was hiding somewhere? He had almost fallen asleep when he heard a soft squeak, like a little mouse. Jeff, feeling suddenly curious, wanted to see the mouse, so he pushed off the covers, climbed out of bed, and turned on the lamp. He sauntered around the room, looking in all the corners and even in his closet. But no mouse. Squeak! There it was again, the squeaking sound, and it came from under the bed. Jeff knelt down to look, and there, under his bed, huddled in a furry ball, was an animal. It was bigger than a mouse, but smaller than a cat. Was it a kitten? Squeak, squeak! The poor thing sounded scared. So Jeff reached under the bed and gently pulled the kitten out. But he wasn't a kitten, or a puppy, or any type of animal that Jeff recognized. Maybe he was some wild animal baby that came in from the garden. Jeff thought to himself. The animal was shaking and crying, so Jeff sat him on the bed and said soothingly, "I won't hurt you." The creature sniffled, and in a tiny little voice he whispered, "Don't put me on the bed. Please put me under the bed." He could talk. "Why under the bed?" Jeff asked. "Well, that's where I'm supposed to be," the little creature explained, "because I'm a monster from over in Monsterville. I'm in kindergarten there, and we're learning how to hide under beds and scare people." Jeff laughed and said, "But you aren't scary." "Boo!" the creature squeaked. "Aren't you scared?" "Not really," Jeff answered. "You'll have to boo a lot louder to scare people." Jeff lifted the monster up to put him under the bed when the monster said, "My fangs are growing, though, see?" The monster opened his mouth and he showed Jeff little pointy baby teeth. "That's my name, Fang," he said proudly. "Isn't that fierce?" "Very fierce," Jeff agreed. But no more practicing boos until the morning, because it's time to go to sleep. He placed Fang under the bed, gave him a gentle pat, and the rest of the night was quiet. In the morning, Jeff reached under the bed for Fang, but he was gone. Jeff wondered if he would see his friend again. That night, as soon as Jeff's mother kissed him goodnight and closed the door, he hopped out of bed to look for Fang. And there the little monster was, crawling out from under his bed. Fang squeaked happily when he saw Jeff and said, "Boo!" "Boo yourself," Jeff answered. For the next few months, Fang came over to practice boos with Jeff every night. The little monster was getting bigger, his fangs were longer, and best of all, his boos were growing stronger. As Fang got older, he had to take more and more classes in monster school, so he couldn't come every night anymore. Jeff missed him. It was lonesome falling asleep without his furry friend under the bed, but he got used to his room being quiet again, until one night when a terrible noise woke him. "Boo!" Jeff heard the booming voice, and he lay trembling in his bed, but there was something familiar about that voice. So Jeff carefully slipped out of his blankets, leaned over, and peeked into the shadows under his bed. It was Fang. I scared you, crowed the little monster. Jeff jumped out of bed and said, "You did it, Fang! You finally did it!" "Let's have a boo contest," Fang said. Jeff shouted as loudly as he could, "Boo! Boo!" Fang yelled so loudly the windows rattled. "You won," Jeff congratulated them, then grabbed Fang's front paws, and the two friends danced around the room together.